We're going to wait just a couple more minutes to make sure we're not missing anybody.
There's Teresa.
Hi, sorry I'm late. I was muted. Oh,
No worries. I think it's been a busy day for everybody, so we're going to give a little bit of leeway because we've got some extra time. I gave myself wiggle room just in case. So,
yeah, I'm going through and doing my listing that's coming up Friday and putting everything in command and opportunities and doing the whole thing. So
nice.
your class is nice.
Yeah, so I've added myself a second version of myself on here because notoriously my computer, if I do a Zoom longer than an hour, wants to die on me halfway through because it's done it every single class so far. So I have a backup computer just in case.
It's good.
Because then I can just bounce over there when I'm like, nobody's responding to me.
That's being prepared.
I mean, if I could have like 12 computers, I mean, I could just multitask. I might need another set of arms, but
I was just say I would need more arms and hands and heads maybe.
I always think if I could have been Stitch with that like second set of arms that like comes out my sides, it'd be great.
Oh.
Okay, so I don't think we're gonna have anybody else join us, and if they do, they can join in late. Thank you for attending Tech Boot Camp. We are going to be going over opportunities, and I know when I'm guessing there's a lot of people that are skipping this class because they're like, we've been going over this a lot. I'm actually going to dig into like the phases and stages, how to edit them so that they're more personalized to your business. So rather than just like the process itself. So it'll be a little bit of both. It'll be the process as well as why it's best to put them in through Cultivate and kind of what those steps in between are really meant to do. And then I believe, look at the calendar, Jesse is teaching. Yep, he's teaching the checklists and how to actually fully build out those checklists. So I'll kind of show you where you can do it and why and what the point of it is, and he's gonna actually dig in and like help you guys go in and actually build those checklists out, those task lists out for each phase and stage. Make sense? Okay. So does anybody have any questions in regards to opportunity they want to make sure I cover while I'm on class today? Nothing? No dying needs? Okay. Okay, so can everyone see my screen over here? Yep, everyone's good. Awesome. Okay, so just as before, we're going to use Mr. George Jetson in our opportunity here since we built him out and he was created when we did our contacts class. And so what we're going to do is over here on the left-hand side, we have the little hands shaking. That's your opportunity applet. And I'm going to show you there's actually multiple ways that you can create an opportunity within a client. So I'm going to show you through contacts, and I'm also going to show you through the opportunity tab itself. So we're going to start with the one through contacts. So we're going to click on our contact icon. We're going to search Mr. Jetson here, and he never wants to pop up for some reason. Judy pops up. Mr. George doesn't want to pop up for some reason. Okay, so we have George Jetson here. George Jetson is ready to put an offer in on a property. And so what we're going to do is we're going to act like we started it way before. So we're going to create his opportunity. So we're going to click. We're going to see here, if you click this plus button, you have some options here. It used to have opportunities down here, but now it's up here, up at the top. And then we're going to click this blue little plus create opportunity button under that tab. And in here, it's going to bring a window into a window. So this is our create opportunity window. It's going to look the exact same as your, when you create it through the opportunity section, but we can create it through here as well. So I just wanted to show that piece of the puzzle, but we're actually going to create it in opportunities. So Mr. George Jetson is ready, and he is a cultivated buyer right here. We're going to put him in cultivate buyer. This is your dashboard. Give you a little bit of update on our dashboard here. Your dashboard shows your current month. So if you have clients that you've already closed their opportunities last month or the month before, and you've put it in here, you're not going to see them. If you are wanting to see every single opportunity you've ever created, that'll be up here in the all opportunities section. But when you're in your dashboard that looks like this, you're only going to see a month at a glance. And the reason they did that was because a lot of agents had requested that they don't want to see everything. They want to be able to see everything, but they don't want to see everything in one sitting. They want to be able to have a dashboard that shows their month of potential or what they have currently live in the system. They don't want to see a bunch of stuff that's closed already. They want to see living stuff that's in the system. So if it's still live or it's set to close or you created it this month, it'll all be in here. And you'll notice you have listings, buyers, and leases. I was doing some research on referrals, and I found that they have in development a section in here that'll be referral tracking. So if you have outside referrals, that's where you can track them. So they will have a section in here for you to track your referrals. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit on the dashboard here before we jump into creating that opportunity. We're going to look at our ratios. So this is all of your deals here. So I've created 7 opportunities, and of those opportunities, 33% of them were listings, 67% of them were buyers, and none of them were leases. And if you look at all my opportunities, I haven't really created an opportunity. I didn't go in and actually create any opportunities until about May, June, and then I started creating them. So if you see that. Now, if you don't want it to look like this and you want it to actually show what your months have looked like, and you're putting in old data from January or from February or from March, then you'll see your activity of how many opportunities you're putting in this system in every month. And so you can see kind of the track of your business right here. The other really cool thing is you have a snapshot of what you have closing this month, what you have in as the closing date, how much commission, what the sales price is, what phase it's in, what type it is, who the agent on it is, and the name of the listing.
Muted.
Okay. So and then also you have here your potential and your probable income. When I dig into the phases and stages, I'll go over kind of what calculates these numbers here for you. Okay. So we're going to go in and we're going to create an opportunity for Mr. Jetson and Judy. And we are going to kind of go through those steps, and then we're going to go through the phases for you. So when you're creating an opportunity, you want to make sure at minimum you fill in anything that's got a red star. So if you can see that's got this red star next to market center, owner, opportunity type, client, so on and so forth. You're going to want to make sure that you are filling in all of those sections as accurately as possible. If you're on a team or you're the rainmaker of a team, then you'll have 2 options. You can be the owner or the team can be the owner. And what I would recommend defaulting is the team is the owner of everything. That makes sure that the team system works at a high functioning level. So Jan and Frank, I would make sure with you guys, you're putting it all under the team and you're not creating it under each individual, because if it does that, it'll hide them from either one of you, which is weird. I don't know why it does that. So, and then your client. So you'll notice we have George. Pop up here for me. So we have George Jetson is the client. We're going to do a buyer. And then our co-buyer, which is really cool. So George has a wife that's associated with him, or a partner that's associated with him. When I click on the co-buyer section, it's going to show that there are some related contacts and which one do I want to mark as the co-buyer. So I could say George is buying it with his wife, or George is buying it with his son, so on and so forth. But it makes it really easy. Then you don't have to type the spouse's name in there, up there as an easy pop-up for you guys. And then your opportunity name for a buyer, you're going to leave the name as is until you're ready to put it under contract. Once you're ready to put it under contract, you'll go in and you'll change the opportunity name to the address. You want to make sure that whenever you're submitting a file to the brokerage, your opportunity name has the address in it. The reason is it makes it a lot easier for your MCA department and your broker department when they're going in and reviewing a file, or if they have a check that comes in with no one's name on it but an address on it, they can associate what opportunity, just like they used to have to associate what dot loop was associated with it. You also have custom tags that you can create here. So your custom tags for your opportunities are just like your custom tags for your buyers. And those can be created as, specific as you want. You can track a specific neighborhood. You can track a specific property type if you want. And it's up to you. You don't have to use them at all. So it's as simple or as complex as you want to make it out to be. So for estimated close date, what I like to put in, because we hope that you would put them in something through Cultivate, starting at Cultivate through Close. That Cultivate, that word right there means that the client is raising their hand to buy or sell. So Cultivate means that client is saying, I want to buy or sell in X amount of time. So if you can put it in there and you can say, hey, this buyer wants to sell by the end of the year. Hey, this seller wants to sell by the end of next year. They're in Cultivate stage. There's someone that is an extremely hot lead that you need to make sure you're consistently following up with. The Jetsons are wanting to, their lease is up at the end of 2020. So if they don't buy a house by the end of December, they are going to be homeless, or they're going to have to re-sign a lease, and then they're going to be stuck in a rental for a longer time, and they want to buy a house. So we're going to put in here that their estimated close date is going to be December 31st, which means their time frame is between 3 and 6 months. So we're going to say it's about 3 months. It's not quite. It's like 5, but close enough. And then their budget, they can afford up to a $500,000 house. And our commission rate on that's going to be 3%. And they're going to stay in that Cultivate stage right here. And we're going to be, and we know that they're a hot lead. So we're going to move them from Cultivate straight into hot. And then in your assignees, now Jen and Frank, just because you guys are the only team that's on here, I'm not sure who you guys have as Rainmaker. You want to make sure both of you guys are on there as assignees so that you both can see the opportunity through the entire section.
We put them all as Frank, but I have both of us selected as, you can choose both people. That's what I've done.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to make sure, because otherwise you're not going to be able to see stuff if you log into yours.
Yeah, take a peek. I think you'll be okay with them.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, and then you'll click the create button, and then it creates the opportunity. So before we dig into this piece, because we dug in a lot to this piece, we're going to go back and dig into the phases and stages and kind of go through the explanation of exactly what they are, why they were created, and how you can go in and edit them. So if I hit the back button, it takes me to my buyers dashboard. So this is just my buyers that are living right now in the Cultivate stage. Keller Williams has come up with this really cool design where you can see tabs that don't look like tabs, and within those tabs are more tabs. So it's a true filing system for those of us who want to be super organized with our clients and kind of know really where they are in the stage of their view. So you can look at this two ways. You can look at it in list view, or you can look at it in board view. Or, oh, there we go. So this is your list view. And what we had before was board view, because we had a lot of agents across the nation going, well, I want it to just be like a sticky note that I can move between phases and stages. I just wanted to make it like a sticky note. How do we make it like a sticky note? So they created it. So just like any deal, this is a sticky note, and you can kind of drag it and drop it into each of the phases or stages. So you have your phases, your stages, and then your phases. So, and you'll notice that there's a percentage next to each section. Does anyone want to guess what that percentage means?
Likelihood to close.
Correct. It's the probability percentage that it's going to close, which means if it has information in here, which this one says that it's a $15,000 commission. Right now, your probability of closing that is 10%. So only 10% of this income will show up in your probable income, because there's a 10% chance it's going to close. So those big numbers up at the front on that main dashboard, that's how those numbers are calculated. And if when you have something that's a hot lead is more than a 10% in your business, well, that's super easy. Let's just go in and edit that. So let's edit those stages by clicking this button up here at the top that says edit stages. So this is a pretty white button with blue outlining that says edit stages, that gives us that opportunity to reorder the ones that are already in there. You can delete a stage if you don't want it. And it does remind you before you hit that delete button that this is an irreversible action. If you delete the stage and you didn't mean to do that, you have to recreate it. Or you can add a stage. So if you have somebody that's in cultivate, depending on how you run your business, and that's a cultivate where you have them on an MLS drip. They're a hot lead on an MLS drip, and once they're on an MLS drip, your percentage of getting them to close status on an MLS drip is about a 20%. Every 20% of people you put on your MLS strips buy from you. Then what we'll do is we'll call it that this is on an MLS drip. We're going to say that the probability of this is a 20%. It's going to be in position 4 of 4 because it's going to be the 4th item on our list here. And then in here, I'm going to do an add item for their tasks, and I'm going to say add to MLS drip. And the other thing we're going to put on here is we're going to do add to smart plan. So now I've got a 4th option in here. It's got 2 checklist items. We're going to go back in and we're going to take Mr. Jetson into the MLS strip. And now he's got 2 tasks that you need to mark off in that stage. So the reason they created a lot of these pieces was to keep the agent on task for each piece of the buying process. Those super busy agents that are like, I'll never remember that I need to do this for every single person and this for every single person because I don't have a system in place and it's not a habit yet. This was created for you, so you have a task list now. So when you move that person into this section, they have 2 tasks you must complete before you can move them on to the next. If you don't do them and you move them on to the next, it says that it was completed. And now when you look back, you're like, well, did I put them on an MLS drip and did I actually put them on a smart plan? It says you did, but did you really? So that's kind of the big thing, is making sure you're staying accountable to yourself and marking off those tasks.
So it automatically says you did it, but does it send you a notification that you did it? So you were like, wait a minute.
Don't think it does right now, but you'll notice now George Jetson, those task lists are done. Because I moved him, it doesn't follow him.
Okay.
He got moved to appointment stage. So, but I do know they were working on, let me see if they did it. When you move them in and there's a checklist that has to be completed, it was supposed to start putting them in your task lists. Oh, nope. So it did sort of. Has to. So you have some call stager is a task on there. So, and these are opportunity tasks. So it looks like they're still editing that function. I know that was something that was really big with a lot of people is like, it needs to tell me that I need to do it or I need to be able to assign it to someone to get it completed.
Okay. And they are working on that. That's great.
I believe they are because that opportunities task's not been there before.
Okay.
So that's something that's new. Okay. So any questions on the cultivate section and what the cultivate section means? No? Okay. So in appointments, you'll notice in appointments, you have scheduling, scheduled, and kept. Now these here are really important because this information, once you keep that appointment, feeds into your reports. So in your reports section, you have your database, your goals, and in your goals, you put your what you want your profit to be at the end of the year. Your conversion ratios are all here. And when you start putting those appointments in, it'll start tracking how many appointments you actually have, how many appointments have been kept, how many agreements were won. All of this stuff will fill in so that you're making sure you're on track to do your goals. So a lot of this stuff talks to each other, especially within opportunities, because this should be the heart of your business right here. In active, you got the stages of searching, showing, negotiations, and then legacy. Legacy was created for dot loop converters that brought their dot loop files over through a sync connection. I don't recommend that, by the way. I have heard some not so fun things that have happened when the syncs were connected, and after a little while, like it messed up some things. So just giving that disclaimer. But you'll notice again, they each have a percentage that's associated with them. Same thing with under contract. And then the other really cool thing is just like the sticky notes, you can click on them when you're ready to move them and just move them within a phase, or you can move them into a different phase. So you just take that up and then drop it all up in that phase, and then it marks it for you.
I have a quick question on that.
Mm-hmm.
I have contacts that were buyers and we closed in December, and they're still showing there because I hadn't played with them much. Can I move them on over to closed? But I don't have documents and all that because it was in dot loop.
That's fine. You will need to put the close date in.
Okay.
Because what was happening, and I don't know if they've completely removed this, when you mark close dates, which is right here, it was automatically changing the close date when someone accidentally moved it into that phase. And then when it actually didn't close yet, so they were having TCs do it, and it was then moving it from their dashboards into their all opportunities, which freaked people out for the longest time because they then couldn't find them, and they were freaking out that the opportunity disappeared. So they stopped automatically changing the close date when you move it into close. That's still something you have to manually put in.
Okay. All right.
And then once you do that, it'll show it as closed in your system.
Okay.
So, any questions about the stages and phases? No? Okay. So I'm going to go back to seeing here, you have your potential versus probable income. And again, these are all calculated based off of those percentages that are within there. You do have some settings that are associated with your opportunities, just so you know. You can now, this is a new, brand spanking new, came out last Friday, piece of the opportunities puzzle. You can now set a default preference for daily progress emails that come from you to your clients within an opportunity. So you can turn this on that it sends at this time on your Phoenix time zone, because you've told it what time zone you want it. It's going to send it from this email to your client and your co-client. It's going to send it to assignees as well. I want the owner to also see it. And then it's going to send this email. So when you're completing tasks or checklists, you're now sending a generic email from the Rainmaker or the team to the client to let them know about their property and what activities have been completed, so that they know that where they are in the process of that opportunity on your behalf automatically. And it says defaults will be applied to all opportunities created in this pipeline. Assignees can adjust these settings in each individual opportunity if necessary. And it's going to send at this time every day to let them know what's happening with their file.
And it looks like on the email template from designs, that's going to be something new coming in later, or is that pulled it up from there?
So this is currently what goes out. I don't know if they're going to make it editable at some point.
Okay.
I can't answer that question for you. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm glad they have a preview though, so you can see what it looks like. That's great.
Mm-hmm. I would assume that at some point in the future, it will be customizable, since this is everything is customizable. But like I said, this is brand spanking new. It was released on Friday. So I actually got really excited. I was teaching opportunities one-on-one with a team, and I saw it and I was like, oh, that's the coolest thing ever. So even I get excited about the new stuff that comes out.
That's really going to be nice. Big time saver.
Yeah, very much so. Okay. So any other questions in regards to that before I move into the actual opportunities piece of the puzzle? No? Okay. Awesome. Okay, so now we're actually going to go into Mr. Jetson. We're going to open up his opportunity here. And I'm going to show you everything within this piece. So we're going to go through every detail. Please feel free to jump in and ask any questions if you have them. I'll try to cover everything. If I miss something, I'm sorry. But I'll be going through this consistently throughout the month. You'll be seeing a lot of stuff on opportunities. Mm-hmm. So to start from over here, you have your general information. So once you've created your opportunity, you have a ton of general information that's in here. And you'll notice we have some blank spots in here. We want to make sure that all of our blank spots are filled out if we can. If you're just doing it to put the data in so that you can move forward with the deal, fine, you don't have to put in all the information, you just have to put what's required. But the reason it's asking all of these extra questions here is because it's used somewhere in command. Everything talks to everything else. So if you miss a piece, you'll be missing some type of tracking that's available for you, etc. So if you go in and you need to edit something, just like in the person, there's a little pencil icon here that you'll be able to click on, and it brings up the actual details section of the opportunity for you. First things first, I'm going to show you where to change your opportunity names. So Mr. Jetson, when he's ready to buy 1234 East Main Street, I can change it from his name to 1234 East Main, space, Main. Make some fun out of it. And then we're going to say Jetson and then buyer. So I have here where I can search that opportunity. If I'm searching it by its name, I can search it by the address. I can search it by his name, his last name, or I can search it by the type. I forgot to put an assignee on here, so I'm gonna add Caitlin to this one. He's a luxury buyer, so I can add that custom tag on there if I want to. We have a contact name and buyer, and at this point, I accidentally forgot to move him, so he's actually gonna be in the appointment stage, and he kept that appointment. Actually, I'm gonna put him in the active stage, and we're in the negotiations portion here.
Heather,
Yes, ma'am.
can you repeat real quick what was the assignee for?
So the assignees, you'll only see if you're part of a team. So when you're a part of a team, Rainmakers can then assign additional agents to the opportunity. So it's sort of like adding an agent to a loop. And then their time frame's down to 1 month. We're hoping to get them closed sooner than that. So we're going to say we want to get them closed. We're ready to put that offer in at the end of October. We scheduled the appointment Monday. The appointment was today. They signed that buyer broker with me today. And we're hoping to get them under contract by the end of the day because we're ready to write them a contract today. And then we're hoping that if we do that, then they'll close, let's say the beginning of the month in October. We're still good on the budget. Commission rate's still good, but they're gonna do conventional financing. They're gonna do a jumbo loan, and then we're gonna save it. And now, as you can see, all of my dates are here. And then when I reload, it's going to show that I've got more. I've kept some appointments here, so it changes these numbers. I've set the appointment. I've kept the appointment. I've won the agreement. We just have to get them under contract now. In the property section here, this is where you put the address that they're ready to purchase the home. So if they're ready to put an offer in on something or they have an accepted offer on something, this is where you'll need to put that information. That information must be filled out for you to submit your commissions to the market center. If this section is not filled out, you won't be able to submit the file at all to the market center. It's going to say you need to have an address on the file, and this is where you will need to fill it in at. So, and make it really simple, you really only have to fill in address line 1. If it's an existing property that Google Maps can find, save space, it all pops anything up for me. If so if you notice, East River Road actually pops up. You can just click on it and it auto-fills everything for you. If it's a new build that doesn't exist on Google Maps already, you will have to fully fill everything out. And then we'll click Save. Okay. So you can also, this porch repair estimate report, this is something free and new that Keller Williams has initiated. I haven't played with it much, so I'm not going to dig too far deep into it. In the description, this is really cool. If you have them in cultivate stage, you can put notes in on what they're looking for in a home. This can sort of be your notes section for the client to help with making sure you're collecting all the information. So you can say they're looking for a 4-bed, 5-bath. I'm not typing. 4-bed, 5-bath, luxury home in North. And it just tells you there. It's right there for you. And then this can give you just an overview of what's going on in the transaction. So now we have a buyer profile. You'll notice in the buyer profile, both George and Judy, neither one of them have the consumer platform downloaded. So this is where you can send them your app so that they can do it. So give me a second. I'm actually gonna see if I can create an account for Mr. Jetson on my app really quick. Okay. It's thinking. So I just signed him up on my app. Now, if I reload my page here, fingers crossed this works for me. It's gonna show that they're registered with the consumer platform. So all they have to do is sign up with their first name, last name, and the exact email that you have in your system for them. So now we're gonna see that they have registered with the consumer platform. And then in here, we can see that they were last active on August 19th at this time. And you can manage their guide. So this piece of the puzzle here, this managing of the guide, those of you who were in Jesse's class last week, did he go through how to build and specialize the buying and selling guide for you guys in the consumer platform?
Yeah.
On his Thursday class? Okay.
Yeah.
So on that Thursday class, he created like your specialized. So you can go in and specialize that. So this is what they're going to see on their end. And in here, you can see that they've marked it off complete, marked it off complete, marked it off complete. And we're going to say save changes. And so now when I go into the app, and I go into the guide, I don't know if you guys can see my phone. Probably not because it's super bright in here, but over on this side, there's little circles next to each of these options and they have little check marks in them. So the client can see this is the part of the process that I've already completed. So I don't have to worry about those steps anymore, but what is the next step? So the point of that was to give them on-demand information in regards to what's going on. And now notice this is the second time that this system has set up a way to notify the client about what's going on in the transaction without them having to pick up the phone and call you.
Okay. So they would need to first install the KW app, then register, set up an account.
Correct.
And then they'll show up there, and then we can go in and manage the guides and we can check things off.
Correct. So you notice that when we first went on there, it said they didn't have the consumer platform.
Mm-hmm.
And then I reloaded my page once I set up the account for him in my system on the app. I logged into the app as him.
Mm-hmm.
And now he can see the guide. I can see it, manage it. And we can see that his buyer's guide is at 4 of 9. He's ready to make an offer.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he can see I'm ready to make an offer, which is really what the step we're on for him is. We're going to be making an offer. So does anybody know what a pizza tracker is through Pizza Hut?
Yeah.
Or a DoorDash tracker?
Yeah.
That's what they kind of stole it from.
Mm-hmm.
They stole it from, you want to know where your pizza is and when it's going to be delivered. This is how we're telling the clients about what's going on in the transaction. Really, it was to keep you being able to do the functionary stuff or out of the functionary stuff so that you can really focus on being that fiduciary, doing the negotiations, focusing on making sure the deals don't fall through instead of being on the phone all the time doing the secretarial, clerical piece of the puzzle. It's a really good leverage for those who don't have a TC or can't afford a TC yet, or a listing manager or a buyer manager, etc.
Mhm.
Any questions on that piece? No? Okay, we're going to move on to the document section. In the document section, this is where you submit your files. I am not going to super dig into this. I'm going to dig a little bit, but not as much as I would during like a command compliance class, because this is not a compliance class. This is just teaching you what opportunities does. So we'll go over the dashboard. We'll go over what you can do, but I'm not going to dig into DocuSign at all. But I'll show you where you can access it. So in your documents, first things first, you have to pick your checklist. So it's a buyer. Is it a residential resale or would it be a new construction? We will be having, I believe, 2 more checklists come in. One's going to be commercial or multifamily. And then I believe the other one's going to be land lot. So the brokers are still working on finishing those checklists. And as soon as I get them in my hands, I will do my best to get them in as fast as possible. I did that I tried to do that at KLP and accidentally deleted a checklist and had to rebuild it.
Oh no.
So this is going to be a residential resale. And as soon as I hit that, you'll notice that I have all of my documents that are required or optional or conditionally required. Now, if I accidentally choose the wrong checklist and start uploading files, I can switch. So if you put an offer in on a residential resale and it doesn't work out, then he goes, I really like that new build down the street up in Dove Mountain. I really want that one.
Mhm.
Then you can go, okay, new construction. Okay, I got the right checklist now.
Okay.
So you can bounce between the checklists. And then if you notice the zeros next to them are how many documents you have in each of the checklists.
Okay. That way, when you don't have any documents in the checklist, you can just go change it. Okay.
Now, I haven't played with it enough to know if I download an ABA and then switch between the two, if the ABA floats to the second checklist or not.
Okay.
But you do have in your residential resale as well as your new construction, you'll have 3 folders. You have your consultation folder, which is your disclosure documents for your buyer. You have your under contract, and you have your closed. Couple things I'm going to tell you about the checklists. They are getting better on how we put them in on the compliance side. Currently, right now, if you filter them by any of these filters at the top, it takes them out of order of how the broker wants them, and I don't know how to put them back. I still have not, I don't even believe that's a possibility. You can either do A to Z or A to Z or upload it or not. But once you do one of these filters, you can't re-filter it back to the way the broker wants it. The other thing you'll notice is under the document, you'll have a required, you'll have an optional, or you'll have an additionally or conditionally required, not additionally, conditionally required. Now, when I created these checklists, I tried to make it as simple as possible. If it's conditionally required and you don't know what the conditions in which it would be required, I tried to spell it out as best as I could. So like a COVID is conditionally required for transactions in progress during COVID. I think she wants me to change that to when used, because I don't think you don't have to use it as much anymore because we're so far into the pandemic. Or for lead-based paint, conditionally required when property was built prior to 1978. Required as an attachment to the spuds when there's a private or shared well. So there's some details in there to help kind of so that you know when a file should have that document or when it shouldn't. You can also, if there is a form that's not on the list, which there's a lot, if you have a form that's not on the list on here, so say you want to upload a private sale, they're also in the deal wanted to sell X, Y, and Z bed frame for this much money, and you guys did a sale purchase. You want to add that in. All you have to do is click add item, name the document, select the type of document that it is, any notes if you want to put it in there, and then drag and drop the file in. So anything that's not in here, it may not be required, but you may want to just put it in the file as a cover your assets type of deal. You can do that. You can also add a comment in the file. So just like in Dotloop, when you used to have to add messages to send information between the two, here, you hit the @ symbol, it will bring a list of everybody who has access to see notes within an opportunity. So Caitlin can see it because she's an assignee. Cindy can see it because she's an MCA. Nancy, Lisa, and Wendy can see it because they're the brokers. And then Cheyenne can see it as assistant MCA. So this is how you can get information to your MCA or your assistant MCA. I'm also in there for you to be able to send messages to. So if you're needing to, you just do it, you click somebody, and then you just type the message. And then what happens when you do that is it will, did I dismiss all my notes? It'll notify you up at the top section here. The other thing, who by a raise of hands or a yays or nays, who here still has Kelly downloaded on their phone? Kelly is your notification through command right now. So if you get a note or a notification through command, it will yell at you on your phone via Kelly as a little blue Kelly icon at the top. So I don't know if, Teresa, have you done tasks where it was like, you have a task coming up today?
Yeah, and it's notified me if people have downloaded the Kelly app.
Nice.
And they're on looking at anything. It'll tell me what they're looking, or it'll tell me that they're active or whatever.
Which kind of, for me, so the point of it is eventually you'll be able to go into Kelly and do your stuff in there. Right now you can't. I've tried. I freeze her every time. But at least that gives you a notification that, hey, I need to get into command and do something in there today.
Yeah.
Rather than not opening at all. We do still just need to make it a habit to be opening up command every single morning, maybe like twice a day, every single morning, every mid-afternoon, to make sure that there's not something that needs to be completed. Especially if you're using the smart plans and the task management system and opportunities at a higher level, because right now I don't know if it does email compliance. One of the tech drivers mentioned that it is starting to do it, but I don't know if it's being slowly phased in or if everyone's going to start getting those. So I don't want to rely on an email that we may not be getting.
Hey, Heather.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the office today and putting some documents. I had some documents reviewed by Wendy, and so she had to, kick one back. There was one missing. Really nicely formatted emails are going to your KW email address from the broker when reviewing files. If you have a document that's missing something or you're missing a document, again, you'll get an email on your email address as well as a notification up by the bell that action has taken place by the broker. So that we found that to be working, and the email's very clear, very, very obvious what the situation is. It was really nice.
Awesome. You're the first person to be able to confirm that for me. So I didn't want to promise something that I wasn't 100% sure was working.
Larry, did you also get an alert with your Kelly app on your phone?
Yes, I did. I actually got them both. They were formatted differently. On the Kelly app was a little less info, if you will, but the email was amazing because it had a notation. It had in bold letters what document needed attention and what it was. It either was rejected or it was missing, so on and so forth. Then I can't remember if it was in the app or not, or in the notification up by the bell. I think it's the notification up by the bell that it goes into further detail as a note from the broker saying line 65, this amount is missing or this number's wrong, something like that. So really cool, very clear messaging that's going to be coming out of broker compliance and broker file review.
Sweet. Awesome. And the other thing I can tell you from the broker side of things, because I've seen it, they did play with it before the emails were coming out. When they go in to look at a file, if they return a document to you because it's not the way they want it to be, you can go in and replace that document, and they can see both the old version and the new version to make sure that you've updated exactly what they needed you to update and you didn't miss something else. So that's a really cool thing on the broker side, for them to not have to remember what they asked you. They can see the difference between the two forms, which helps them review a lot faster so that you guys can get paid faster.
One more thing they added too, right in here, you see where, like, say status and document, when you're looking at your file, in between in that open space, another bubble pops up when you hover over the bubble, and it too has the line 65 needs attention, blah, blah, blah. So it's yet another way. You're getting notified in 3 or 4 different ways what needs to be done.
Let me see if I can show them that, because I know I have
That's
a
great.
play one that I've done that I submitted for the brokers to play with. Tis not this one. Oh.
While you're looking at that too, did everybody get an email about the Twilio account change?
I did not.
Okay, yeah, it came from the main office, I guess. I went ahead and changed mine. I had to go in and delete my Twilio account, and then you have to open a new Twilio account through command, or if you want to keep your number, you can transfer it, just the number, but the account will be a new account. So you have to do that to do the smart plan. So I did that this week.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Even if it says you're connected to Twilio in command?
Yes, because I was connected, but what's going to happen, they said, is if you don't get it reconfigured and go in and go through command and set it up, it won't work after a certain date. So all your smart plans will not be going out.
How do you check whether you are or aren't?
Well, if you haven't reconfigured it with the brand new command, so they just now signed a different contract with Twilio that's going to be better for us. So you'll have to, if you want to save your number, you can transfer it over into command, but it will be a new account, but they're going to let you transfer the number. And then you'll have to close the other one and get a refund on what money you have in there.
And so are they doing 520 numbers now, or specific to locations? Or are they still going to be 512 numbers?
They said that you'll be able to easily get a local number. And I didn't have time today to go in and check that. I thought I would give them one day because I did this yesterday. And then
Got it.
see what my number is. But they said it would be easy to do through command.
Awesome. 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 Okay, so I know there's got to be one in here. Show 75. Because, I've only got 12,000 of these in here. I've not played in this at all.
Let me see who sent that about the Twilio account.
Training one. Okay, like there's one that says training on it.
Yeah, because I thought I signed up for Twilio through command the first time.
Well, they would have you would get it set up. However, you had to go to the Twilio website to actually make an account. Now you don't do that. You actually make the account through command.
I think that's,
I know it's confusing.
They know where to find it right now, so I'm trying to look all over.
Here, it was just, let's see, August 17th. It came from the KW Marketplace.
Okay, that sounds about right. Yeah. Okay, so you can see when you're looking at approved files, sorry, we went on a little rabbit hole there. You can see that when a file gets approved, it's in here as approved. And then you can also see the timeline of that transaction. So you can see that Wendy came in and reviewed it. She's looking at all the versions, so she can actually look at version histories as well. You can see what she's done. She approved certain files. See if I can find the one that she rejected down here. So she did documents in here. So like she can come in and you can actually see everything that she's looked at, what she has looked at, where it was, so on and so forth. So this is a really cool piece of the puzzle because we have to have it for ADRE as well.
That's great.
So we're going to go back over to Space Lane for the Jetsons, and we're going to assume in here that we've started a transaction. So this is where you'll start that transaction. For DocuSign, you'll just click this black button right here, and it'll take you into DocuSign. We're not going to dig too far into that. Once you get documents in here, this gray Submit to MC button will turn into a bluish greenish button that says Submit to MC, and you'll need to do that for every single folder. So every folder, once you start putting documents in, will have a status over here called Open. Once it's submitted, it will be marked Submitted. Once it is approved by the broker, it'll say Approved and it'll be green. There's also a Rejected, a Replaced, and a Missing for your statuses over here. So you'll have your statuses that you can look at, but you want to make sure you're submitting every single folder. So before, when you were in Dotloop, when you submitted your initial documents for your buyer, your disclosure documents, you couldn't submit those separately if you did them separately, but you can here. The next step is the offers. So we've put in an offer, we've created an offer, we've submitted over to the agent on the other side, but now we're going to put the offer timeline in here. So this section must be filled out before you can open your commissions section. So if you'll notice, there's a little I next to it that says you'll be able to view your commission when you have an accepted offer. So we're going to add an offer for this buyer. We're going to call it Initial Offer on Space Lane. We're going to click Create Offer. Now, if you are just needing to do this to get to your commissions, put just the information required to have in. If you're actually going to use this offer timeline the way it was built, fill everything out the best that you can, because the point of the offer timeline is for you to track the offers that are coming from your client. If it's for a listing, it's to track multiple offers that come in and what's going on with each of the offers. The biggest piece for the listing side is you will eventually be able to create a full net sheet with a breakdown for your sellers to email over to them. So they can look at all of the offers, they can look at all of the breakdowns and really be able to see that like high SC spreadsheet that we don't have the time to build for them, that we would love to be able to. The system does it for us.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So we're putting an offer in today on Space Lane. We're hoping to have it close on the 5th of October. And we're going to select from KWLS all listings. And we're going to look for 1745 East River Road because we're going to choose this one. So in here, actually, the real cool part is you can actually pull it from our MLS. So whatever address you're putting the offer in, you just search all of them, find that it fills in the address here. Then when you go to the parties section, it fills in the agent's information on the other side for you already. In here, the only thing that's required is the buyer or seller on the other side of the transaction. But how many times out of 10 does a client from the other side get orphaned by their agent because the agent got out of business, or they were just like, I'm not dealing with that client again? That we can adopt by just getting that information and storing it in our system and continuing to follow up of, hey, I was the agent on the other side of your transaction. I hope you're loving the home, or, you know, hope you love where you moved or whatever, and just keeping in contact with them. You could potentially adopt an orphan client that way. But that's where you can put that. You can also put in here if your client's pre-approved or pre-qualified. Say, Susie Seller. Next. In here is where you can put your terms. So you have your cash terms, your finance terms, and then your sales price. Well, let me type in. So it won't let you actually type in sales price. So you have to figure out cash down versus financed amount. If you don't know how much money they're going to put down, you can put it all in financed. If this is for a seller for your listing, you should know how much cash they're putting down because they should put it on the contract. And then how much is financed. So we're going to say that all $499 of this is financed because they're putting in a full cash or a full offer, because we said they're getting a jumbo loan, and they're going to put $5,000 down in earnest money. We don't have option fee and we don't have termination option in the state of Arizona, so we're going to skip those. The seller will contribute blank to a residential service contract. So what do you think they're asking for there?
Home warranty.
Home warranty. So we're going to say yes, $625 because it's got a pool. I don't know if that's the math anymore, but it was at one point. And then the seller will contribute blank to settlement costs. What do you think that means?
Concessions.
Closing costs. So we're asking them for $10,000 in closing costs. And then we're going to say agent analysis. And here's where you put the pros and the cons of that offer. And then the summary. This is really important for sellers. If you have a listing, this is really important, because if you are going to start using that for a net sheet, this will be your pros and cons to be able to send off to your client. And then we're going to click save. And now we have a property attached to it with a pretty picture. It looks like land. We're going to be offering that much. And it's in the reviewing stage. And so you ask, well, what could these three dots over here possibly do on an offer? We have accept and reject, but what would these do? So we're going to say, well, let's click on them and find out. So we can add a negotiation. So put in a counter offer if they counter back, edit the offer, add analysis if we forgot to, send the offer, or remove the offer. So we're going to bounce over to send offer really quick so you guys can see what this looks like. Send offer gives you you're sending that to your client. So you're sending it to Space at 2020 for their offer for this property. We're going to say, hey, this is your offer. I want a copy of the email that goes out. And then I'm going to hit this little eyeball at the top, and it's going to tell me what that offer is. And so that actually is just a really pretty classy email with the offer information that they can put in. So they can see. There used to be an option of add attachment, but it looks like they pulled it out or they're editing it somewhere, but there used to be an option here to be able to put an attachment on there for you. So we heard back from the agent on the other side, and they want to add a negotiation. They want to give us a counter offer, so we're going to call this counter offer 1. And in here, they go, okay, well, I want them to close on October 1st instead of the 5th. And we want them to, we're only going to offer $7,500 in settlement costs. and we'll cover 600 for the home warranty. We're gonna say save. Now it's in ours. We go have that negotiation with Mr. Jetson, and Mr. Jetson says, yes, I'll accept that. You sign that counteroffer, you send it off to the agent on the other side, and then you click the accept button. Now, before I click the accept button, I want everyone to keep their eyes on this commission tab here for me, okay? So when I click that accept button, you'll see that commission tab swirls for a second, and then it opens up, so now I can actually click on it. So now I can actually go into the commissions and submit commission instructions over to the brokerage, to the MCA department for them to process. Any questions on the documents or offer section before I dig into commissions a little bit?
So is the offers part more of an internal part on our end as opposed to it going to the other agent?
Yes.
Okay.
It's internal on our end for now. I do believe that it will eventually create really cool offer emails for us to send to the agents on the other side, as well as net sheets that we can send to our sellers. There's more to it. It's just not currently in existence. So right now, yes, it is just an internal piece to open up the commissions tab.
So then why does it say email offer?
Because you can email the offer off to, like, so say you have a seller, you can email the offer breakdowns over to your seller.
Okay.
So you can do that all right now. I just don't recommend it because I don't know how high functioning it is yet.
Okay.
Because there also used to be an attach function where you could attach the actual offers. And right now that's not there anymore.
But
Is
we
it
have to
actually
fill that out.
sending the documents?
It will. So I know when it was originally on there was an attachment piece where you could attach the offers to that email that went out. So they got an attachment, PDF attachment of that file, as well as the breakdowns from us. But the button's gone, and they must be working on it, because I know the future piece of that is going to be really, really high functioning, where you'll be able to do it all from your phone, like create an offer, set signatures, and send it off to the agent on the other side, all from your phone, your mobile device. But it's not high functioning yet.
I've got another question on the document section.
Okay.
In .loop, if we had 6 documents, we could scan, and then we could have them split in DocuSign or in .loop. What is that attach multiple files? Is that the same thing?
Yes and no. If you want to download, so if you have multiple files in one PDF is what you're saying, and you need to split it, that
Yes.
you can do in DocuSign. So you'll be able to upload the PDF into DocuSign and split it in DocuSign, and then upload it into here from DocuSign.
Okay, I'll just have to try one.
It's really easy, Frank.
Yeah, it's super simple, and did Jesse teach that in one of his previous 3 classes?
Yeah, we were looking at it yesterday.
Okay, so when I get that video up, I'll send that off to you, Frank, so you can watch it.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay, but to touch on the multiple files piece, if you're wanting to upload documents, like if you have all of the documents split already in DocuSign, in a folder in your computer, you can actually drag and drop multiple files in, and then click attach, and it'll attach them all at once. So that's how you add multiple files instead of having to add them one by one. Okay, so now we're going to go into the commissions tab if nobody else has any questions. Okay, we're an hour in and my computer has not frozen yet, so we're doing good. Okay, so you'll notice now we have a contract date and a close date, those pulled from the details section of your opportunity. And if you noticed, I had put October 5th as the close date in that close section, but when I changed it in the negotiations of the offer section, it changed it here for me. So I had it, so it updated it for me. And we're saying that we contract dated on the 21st. So as long as all of this information comes in, so it takes that commission rate you put at the beginning as your percentage, you can change that if you need to. So we're saying we have a sales price of this, the commission rate is this, which means my total commission is this. We can see that it already has me on there as the agent one. And then how much I owe to the market center, company dollar, royalty, deductions. Now, no one here is on a team, but I'm going to say it just in case. If you have multiple people on a commissions, it's going to pull the $65 E&O from every single agent. Our Winmore system only pulls it once. So once you submit your commissions, you'll need to make sure you put a message so that when Cheyenne goes into the opportunity and accepts it, she knows who needs to actually pay the E&O. It's a bug in the system because certain states, E&O is paid by everybody on the transaction. And in the state of Arizona and in our office, it's paid once per commission instructions. So it's a little bit different. It doesn't negotiate across the board for us. So it's figuring out that piece of the puzzle in the commissions.
Heather, would we do referrals here also? And what about, I'm trying to decide what would be the best for example, Tess is going with me Friday. She didn't really want to split anything, but I want to do something for her. So can I like give her a percentage of the commission, or would I do it as a referral? But anything I do, would I do it right here?
Yes.
Okay.
So anything you do, whether it's pay her out as an admin deduction for doing showing assistant work, percentage, etc., or a flat rate, would all be through the commission section. And I'll go through every piece of the puzzle, any possible combination I will show you. So let's start with if you're splitting it with her by a percentage. So if you're splitting the unit with her and you're, say, going to give her 10% of the unit, you will need to go in and change your unit first and then add her in as a secondary agent. So to do that, you will need to go into Edit Agent Payment up here at the top. You're going to change your unit from 1 to 0.9. It's the same thing as green sheets. It's $1 that you're splitting up. So 1 unit that you're splitting up between multiple people.
Okay.
So you're going to do 0.9 and then you're going to click Calculate Commission. And so it'll change that commission amount for her.
Mm-hmm.
Her associate royalty will calculate off of that at 6%. Her company dollar will calculate off of that at 25%. The E&O says 0, but defaults to 65 on the other page. Here's where you will put your KW Cares, KW Kids Can, Bold Scholarship if you want to donate to any of those. And right now it's showing a net to the agent of $10,264.30. But you charged the buyer a $495 fee, $125 fee. Let's say $125, make it easy.
Okay.
That you're going to keep on your end because it's the fee that you're going to have with brokerage, so you want to pass it through.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if that's what it was, Frank. Is it 125 or was it 135?
No, 125.
Oh, yes, I remembered. Okay. So what we're going to do is first we're going to put a bonus in there. We're splitting it with the market center, and it's going to be 125. We're going to click Add. And if you notice, it adds it up to the top as additional commission earned.
Okay.
Then we're going to click another item. And we've also told the buyer, because they didn't get their full $625 for their home warranty, that we'll cover that extra $25. So we're going to say I want to do a deduction. I'm going to do a $25 deduction. You don't have to fill out anything that doesn't have a red star. We're going to call it a seller credit. I didn't feel like thinking about how to spell concession. And we're going to say it's going to be paid to escrow because we pay it to escrow and escrow divvies it up. And then the address is going to be the office address because I don't know why it requires an address. Don't ask, I don't know why. And then the phone number is going to be the office number, and then we're going to click add. So now we see we have a bonus of 125. We've got a seller credit of 25, but then you also have a 10% referral that you're paying out to Veterans United or something.
Okay.
A company, a Keller Williams company.
I do have a referral I'm paying out to a company, so this is awesome.
Okay. Is it letting us do it now? Yes. Okay, for the longest time, for the last like 3 weeks,
Yeah.
this piece was broken and you had to do the math. It was the worst thing ever.
Oh, okay.
Now it does it by percentage. So we're going to pay a 25% out to them. It's going to be a social security number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the company's name is KW Phoenix. See if I can spell today. Agent's name is Ellen Gale. That's the first name that comes into my head when I think Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And she's at 4500 East Tempe Road. That's not even it. And then it's, you can put the agent's name if you want, and then add. Okay, now we're back down to this much, and then we're gonna save. But since you're just giving them the extra over to agent 2, you're not gonna have them pay the referral. The referral is gonna come out of your portion.
Right.
If you are splitting the referral, so if you're wanting it to come off the top first and then split it, you'll need to make sure that the math adds up to 25% from each of your amounts rather than 25% of just your amount. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And then now, so we have all of your breakdown. Your breakdown looks like this. The net to me would be that much.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to say add another agent. Can anyone tell me what they think add co-broker payment would be? I'm glad nobody answered.
That would be the 3% co-broker, right?
But we don't actually handle that.
Oh, okay.
So we don't have to put it on ours. Unfortunately, there are states that require that all of the funds come in through the brokerage and then the brokerage pays the other brokerage.
But escrow does that here.
Escrow does that here.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you'll notice that we have remaining agent commission to be this much and remaining unit balance to be this much.
Okay.
So we know we need to clear those errors because it's not going to let us submit otherwise. So now we're going to say add another agent, and then we're going to type in. You may want to let her know she might get notified of this. Just FYI that I was playing. So
she'll get all excited. Oh, I'm getting some money.
is it TH? Is it how she spelled THERE?
Or you can just put my name. Yeah. You can just put my name since I'm here. Yeah. TERESA.
You're not in my office, so
Oh, okay.
I'll do Jesse.
Okay.
Because he's not going to care. He'll know that this is a fake
You'll
deal.
know.
I could have done Dan too. So they all know I play in here a lot. So, okay, so you'll see getting the 0.1 of the unit. That's what his commission is going to be. It currently shows at no E&O. We're going to do no extra deductions, and we're going to click Save Changes. And we're going to see that Jesse's on here to get that much. Then up here, you will also see that you have a total commission, a total bonus, an outside referral, a pay to the office, how much is coming to the office for company dollar, a pay to the agents, what's going out to the agents and what the breakdown is and what the other deductions are. Then you have it. That's that. It's super simple.
A lot easier than the green sheets were.
A lot easier than the green sheets were, except the only weird thing is it shows 65 here and 65 here. Because again, Some states required across the board. We don't, and it's not an editable field yet. So I don't know if they're going to allow us to make it so that they can edit it, but it has to add to 65. I don't know what's happening with that. I can assume, but I don't know. And then when you're ready, I'm not going to click submit because then I have to go tell Cheyenne that I don't need it. But then you can submit it over here. Any questions on the commissions?
No, that was wonderful. All day I was trying to figure out how to do that. So thank you.
You are welcome. So in the deduction section, you can put anything. You can put in where you guys are going to have to pay the 125 out to the market center. You can put a seller concession. You can put a pay for home warranty, pay for X, Y, and Z. And just know that what the description is doesn't need to match who's being paid. So you could say admin fee and then the name of the person getting paid so that they know that it's an admin fee.
Okay.
So on and so forth. So it makes it really easy to kind of describe what you're needing to do to the MCA department so that they can make sure that the commission instructions look accurate.
That's wonderful. And this is going to help keep our tax base straight instead of me being taxed for everything and then just giving her cash or something, which would not, it would mess over
And
the time of the year.
It has to come through the brokerage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the other thing that I'm going to kind of mention is right now, these are not live. This little graph that says this is how much you owe to the market center, not live.
Okay.
The reason it's not live is because the Winmore system, which is what we use to put in all of our numbers and transmit over to international, currently only talks to command once a month. Just like Winmore only talked to my KW once a month.
Okay.
In the next 18 to 24 months, they will be merging Winmore into Command and creating a system called Cloudmore. When they do that, all of the all the commission stuff, all of the market center numbers, everything will be a living live number, which means when you create a commission instruction, you will be able to see how close you are to capping, and it will be accurate. It won't be 30 days behind. It will be on cue to the deal. So if you had something close, or we closed it in the Winmore system, 10 minutes before you created a commission instructions and it capped you, it won't pull the company dollar out or the royalty out. It'll show that you've capped. So that will be coming. Please be patient with these new systems. They are growing every single day. And they are working on the leadership side of things like Cloudmore more frequently than they were before, because they're ready to get that stuff, everything into command so that everything talks to each other so much faster. I do know we have a brand new agent that can't be added to a commission instructions in command because Winmore only talks once a month, and he was just added this month. So yay for that agent. A little bit of a struggle for the team that he's on.
But even though it's not live yet, when we still submit this, it still goes over to the MC.
Yep, and the MCA department their Winmore system is always 100% accurate. So, okay, the last thing I'm going to cover is the notes section. If you are on a team, you can do notes within the team and actually talk to each other in here. You can also create checklists, again, within this stage that you can mark off on. And then in the discussion section, same thing. You can have that discussion section in here. Does anybody have any questions about opportunities that they've seen, that they need a little bit more digging in on, that isn't really a ton to do with the compliance piece? No? I think I covered opportunities pretty well. The basics.
You answered everything as we were going, so.
Awesome. Awesome. So really, this is kind of step one in opportunities. If you're wanting to make those phases and stages personalized with checklists and how you run your business, I would definitely recommend attending Jesse's class tomorrow. And then if you missed my class on the 30th, I think it was the 30th, last month when we announced compliance to close, how to get paid, I will be teaching it again on the 29th. We will be having live sessions, so limited live seating in all of the offices with live help. I'll be teaching it via Zoom, but there will be live staff and tech committee members here to help. If you get stuck on something, there are some requirements prior to attending the class. And then, but that's 10 to noon on the 29th. It is a Saturday. We were hoping that it being not a weekday, we could hopefully catch those part-time agents too, that only get like Saturdays and Sundays off if their teachers or their kids they're not having to do that kind of stuff. So if you want to attend or be part of the live sessions, please reach out to me or Kayla. And we will make sure we get you signed up for one of the live sessions. I think we're going to do 10 at Sierra Vista, 15 at KLP, and between 8 and 12 here at JV because we can split you guys up into 2 different locations. So I may be able to push 15 here at JV as well because I can fit 4 out here and 8 in the training room. So, so if you are interested, please reach out to me. Otherwise, that's it for me for today.
Well, thanks, Heather. You really was very thorough. I
Appreciate it, Heather. Thank you.
You're very welcome. If you guys do have any questions that come up in the next, few days, feel free to reach out to me. I'll know how to get a hold of me. So
maybe a couple little things, but I'm pretty comfortable with what I went through in the last couple of days and what you've done today. I have not loaded a live opportunity yet, but I will.
Okay.
So
and I want your feedback. If you run into something that is just frustrating that you just, I will take that and I actually will go into ideas. And if it's something that I can create an idea to let them know to fix, I definitely like feeding that information back to KWRI so that we can get the systems. These are supposed to be systems that are built by agents for agents. So if there's something that's just like, hey, it needs to be like this, please don't hesitate to send me, hey, I wish it could do this. And I'll see if I can pop an idea up there for you guys.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Bye. Have a great rest of your day, you guys.
You too. Thanks, Heather. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.